Well, it's a new day, beautiful dawn here, and I'm a new man. I have a new task ahead of me. New man in terms of, for one of the few times in my life, I've actually had a real solid belief to stand on, the belief of, or the lack of belief, embodied in the concept of atheism. And I'm going to instigate a new resolve in accordance with that, because I think every strong belief requires a strong response. Only makes sense. But I'm going to do it in a slightly different manner, and I'd like to share it with you, and may perhaps invite others to consider the same. I think the world might be a happier, a more peaceful place. I'm going to basically go on the attack, although it's not going to be the type of attack that I typically would have imagined from this stance. It's certainly not the attack my dad enjoyed as an atheist, ever on the prowl and pounce for any who thought otherwise than he did. My attack is going to be inward. My attack is going to be against my own beliefs. And this is not a new idea. No, not at all. I'll give two examples of how this idea has been used for the longest time, but let me just restate the point. I am going to be an atheist attacking the concept of atheism on an active and enhanced basis. So let me share how that isn't a new idea. First of all, it's not a new idea for science. Science basically operates in that same manner. I'll see Ross Sexton's wonderful video, "What is Science?" and how he describes the scientific principle, this scientific method, the scientific mind as being one that is forever challenging its own beliefs to try and find any fallacies, faults, or simply anything that may require us to throw out one idea in favor of another. So science has been doing this for as long as science has been around, or at least as long as the scientific method of inquiry has been around. But it's been around. This idea has been around a lot longer than that. It's too bad I'm in the city, but it's all around here as well. Here, let's give an example around here. Here's what in my mind is an excellent example of this operation in principle. The natural world. A little bit of nature right there. The natural world has been doing this for as long as life has been in existence, and we only know of life on this planet, so I can say it's been operating as long as life has been here. Life is a wonderful example of how nature, and I made this argument before in another video, the natural inquiry video. Basically nature throws out ideas in terms of modifications to the genetic code, making changes to creatures and plants, and then tests those out, and if they prove wanting, they are discarded or tossed aside very, very quickly in a ruthless manner. And that leads us to the world that we have today, a world full of creatures, plants, flying and crawling and digging and swimming things that are the representation of basically the correct view of the world. I mean, how I can't think of a more accurate way to put it. Nature's got it right. I mean, look all around. I can't think of just about any example of an instance of where nature basically hasn't got it right. And look at the birds. I mean, the birds, they know how to fly. Look at the insects. They know how the insects that can fly. The few examples of flight that have come into existence in the world: birds, dinosaurs, insects, and even human beings. Four instances of independent examples of flight. Oh, here's my uncle again. He saw me videotaping yesterday, and now he's going to see me doing it again today. My great uncle. There he is. And okay, 4 instances of independent the instantiation of flight into life. They basically figured it out. Swimming, walking, breathing, seeing. All of these things, photosynthesis, for example, all of these have been refined and in essence perfected by nature due to a process of self-criticism. Nature basically I could almost use the word create, but I could say, crap, maybe I can use the word create. Like I said yesterday in the video, I enjoy the poetic license of using these wonderful terms sometimes. Nature does create. It creates through mutation and accident, variations in the genetic code that are either successful or not. And the only way that nature knows if it's one or the other is through trial and error. It brings a new creature, a new form, a new modification comes into existence. Rarely a new creature. A new modification comes into existence. It is tested. If it's found to be a failure, it's tossed out through death. If it's successful, then it is propagated on towards the next generations. Now, I've kind of gotten aside on the topic that I wanted to make, but I basically want to do the same thing with my own ideas, my own thoughts. I want to take the example of scientific inquiry and the example of the natural world and apply it to my own belief that God does not exist. And I think that a more mature approach at this point is to not level my energies at those who think otherwise, but instead to direct them at my own beliefs, to find where they are wanting, and to invite others to do the same. If anyone has a case to make against atheism, I would invite you to share it with me here in comments, send a message, a video response, whatever you like. And I will, and if anyone else watches, I guess they'll listen to it as well. And it would be interesting to see if I can weed this out, and I will remain forever open to the idea of rejecting atheism on the grounds that evidence is provided to show that it's a bad way of viewing things. It's a bad theory, so to speak. And here's where I then expand. I would like to invite others to do the same. I think the world would be a better place should we, as adults, and then teaching our children, through adults as example, and then through that example, teaching our children, if we were to move from a methodology of confrontation, attack, and tearing down one another's belief system to one of more, not 100%, because we need that sometimes. Sometimes we do need to seriously go on the attack with something that's dangerous. If a piece of legislation comes into the government system that is indeed perceived as a threat, something that is genuinely bad, we have to attack it. And it's our duty as citizens to attack and try to prevent that from happening. Likewise with the belief systems that we think may lead to dangerous circumstances for ourselves and others. So we do need to attack sometimes. But for recreational elements, for recreational thoughts, and I do in some ways consider religion to be not recreational, but it is one of those things that is more of a pastime of the mind, and because we do, in most modern governments, we do separate it from state for the most part. Let's not go down that road, though. That's a dangerous one. For the most part, religion should be treated the same way. I would like to recommend that not just for religion, but for other belief systems, that we turn our attentions towards our own beliefs, and inviting others to try to disprove them, and less attention on doing the same for others. And I think the world would be a better place if we could make that happen. Imagine that, where we basically are all constantly seeking to find where our own faults lie, that we may improve. How less likely we would be to be defensive if that was the aim. If we encountered a piece of evidence that was contrary to our beliefs, but our goal was to find exactly such bits of evidence. Imagine a world like that. Am I being idealistic? Perhaps. Is it within the capacity of humans to do so? Certainly it is. Is it a challenge? Oh, so much of a challenge, especially to get past the emotional elements, and the desire. The great challenge is the desire to be comfortably settled. Because that's really what most of this stuff is about. Most of religion, I believe, and most of the comfort thoughts of the world are about being settled, so that we don't have to be constantly and forever puzzled by the nature of the world around us. Well, I see that my time is almost up under the 10-minute mark. So I'll sign up from there and begin my attack in earnest. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.